Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. Happy belated 4th of July. Hope everyone had a great holiday and is having a great summer. More updates on the channel at the end. Again, I apologize about the upload schedule. I appreciate everybody sticking with me. Welcome to all the newcomers. More stuff at the end for those that are interested. Today's video, we are going to be talking about a case which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, but you might not know all the details. In fact, myself, I didn't know all the details, and it is, like one user wrote, is quite the rabbit hole. We're going to be talking about a man named Kenny Lee Veach. He was 47 years old, living in the Las Vegas area of Nevada here in the United States at the time of this incident. And this was back in 2014. I'll have various maps up, but unfortunately, with this case, there isn't a paucity of information. The problem is that the veracity of all the information out there is not so much credible. We don't have very much actual documented info, but I'll tell you what we do know and you guys can make your own opinions. Like I said, he was 47 years old, white male, brown hair, brown eyes. He had his own YouTube channel. Wasn't really that big of an uploader. I'll have that information in the description. He went by the name of Snake Bite McGee because he thought of himself as sort of a snake wrangler, and apparently he had survived being bitten by a rattlesnake at one point. He was, in my opinion, an extremist hiker. He took all kinds of risks, and he was upfront about this. He told his viewers and people, "Oh, I go out without a compass. I go out with no maps, with no GPS, with no extra water." He documented several of these treks through the Nevada desert on his channel. However, most of his videos were sort of these videos of him doing for Shark Tank. And if you're interested, you can check that out for yourselves. Ironically, this whole case got started, though, on a comment thread on another YouTube channel called Sirius Disclosure, which is a group of individuals that study the paranormal and extraterrestrials. It was founded by a guy named Dr. Stephen Greer. In particular, this one episode titled Son of an Area 51 Technician, which is around a 16-minute video where this guy named Paul Utz tells a story that apparently his father had told him while he was drunk, and it's about basically some kind of new device and energy source. In the comment thread is where things got started. There was, of course, mixed responses, but one user, which was Kenny Veach, said, quote, "This ain't nothing. I'm a long-distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes out by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to the cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed it out of there. That was one of the strangest things that has ever happened to me." From there, it spawned this several-month-long comment thread where people were challenging him, saying that he was making it up, they didn't believe him, etc., etc. Kenny vowed that he would prove them wrong. He would go back to this cave. He told them that he was going to go back out in October of 2014. He went out to try and find this M cave once again. Here's Kenny with one of his snakes as he wrangled it. He goes out on this adventure trying to find the M cave, but he comes back and he tells the viewers, "I was unable to find it. The temperatures were just too brutal and I couldn't find it this time." Of course, this only egged on the users that were thinking that he was making it up to begin with. Here's a map of the areas where we think Kenny was and hiking to find this cave. We know Kenny usually parked his vehicle at Joe May Canyon and hiked through areas like Corkscrew Canyon and Gas Peak. However, we're not exactly sure of where this M cave was. He did give certain clues in some of his videos. That's all we really have to go on. There are people out there that say they have found this M cave. We'll get to that a little bit later. Unfortunately, after failing to find the M cave during the October trip, the people in the comment section, they goaded him into going out again. And this brings us to November 14th of 2014, when Kenny sent out again. And this time he brought his 9mm gun because he genuinely was scared of this cave, but he wanted to prove to everybody that he wasn't making this up. He told his girlfriend that he was going out on an overnight hike. He should be back in a day. He also, of course, made it known to all the followers of that channel and in the comment section that he was going out once again to find this cave. Unbeknownst to all the viewers, all the commenters, Kenny disappeared while out on this venture. He was reported missing a couple days after he did not return by his girlfriend. We do know that the Red Rock Canyon Search and Rescue Group went out looking for him, as well as helicopters. This is another picture of Kenny. We found out this information because sometime in the beginning of December of 2014, his girlfriend she commented this letter. This is where we found out a lot about Kenny. Now, again, this cannot be confirmed that it was actually his girlfriend. However, it's obviously somebody that knew him very well. If it wasn't his girlfriend, maybe a relative. But let's just work under the assumption that it was his girlfriend. She tells us that Kenny went out for this trip. He didn't return. The Red Rock Search and Rescue went out looking for him. They were unsuccessful in all their efforts. She knew where Kenny had parked his car. They found his vehicle at this one particular mine shaft, pictured here. This is Kenny pointing a picture at it in one of his previous videos. They found his cell phone, and that was the only trace that all the searches came up with, was his cell phone. And that was it. It was like he disappeared off the face of the earth. We know that he hiked in the Sheep Mountains in and around that area. One Reddit user posted this map that I'm going to show you up here. I know it's kind of quick, but if you want to pause it and then look, this kind of gives you an idea of the direction he was going and where they believe the cave to be or possibly be. They had various search efforts continue along with helicopters. They also brought in various other units like ATV, desert vehicles. Red Rock Search and Rescue is an awesome group. I'd definitely like to meet some of those guys and gals someday. They worked very hard on this case. Unfortunately, aside from finding the cell phone, they were unable to find any other trace of Kenny. If you're thinking maybe he fell down that mine shaft, they sent down cameras and all kinds of equipment down that mine shaft. Absolutely no trace of Kenny or any articles of clothing. Absolutely nothing was found. Aside the information that the Red Rock Search and Rescue Group provided, like I said, there isn't much documented information on this. The most information that we got is from that letter that his girlfriend, a woman by the name of Sharon, wrote in the comments section. She talked a lot about Kenny, about what his likes and interests were. She said that they would often hike in what she quoted, our desert. I'll have a link to the full letter in the description because it is quite lengthy. However, she talks about how they would go out. They loved going out hiking in the desert. When they went out, though, she was very specific that they would always take a compass, maps, extra precautions. She was also intent on telling people that if they were going to go out and try and look for this M cave, to please be careful, take proper precautions, take extra water. One of the things I did find a little peculiar about her comment thread was she was always posting it with all these smiley faces and positive things, almost as if Kenny hadn't disappeared. It was almost like it wasn't actually happening. She also talked about very specific things, how she loved seeing the bighorn sheep and how they would hike and find these ghost towns, which apparently in that area there are a myriad of various abandoned ghost towns that used to be mining towns. She said that she would love to sit there with Kenny, watch the sunset. She was very specific on things that they had done together, and she goes into detail about these things. So it does seem that they had a loving relationship. She talks about rusted cars that they had seen. However, she also says that they talked about depression and that Kenny was depressed. According to her statement, she actually said that he had asked her if she would be okay if he did that, and he said that he thought she would be because of her law of allowing, whatever the heck that means. There was a lot of very bizarre things in this comment that really didn't sit well with me personally, but everyone has the right to their opinion. It's just that she speaks openly about their conversations of depression and doesn't really talk about her trying to get him help or into help. She does talk about how he lost his job and how he was trying to start this business where he was going to be selling his own little inventions. However, that was failing, and he was living on his retirement money, basically, which she stated was running out. Now, apparently, again, this is not official information, so take it with a grain of salt, but apparently there was warrants issued to search their residence, and when they did, there was stuff on the computers like Google searches about help or depression, suicide, that kind of thing. However, one of them said that it wrote "help me." That just didn't make really much sense to me. Why would you type in "help me"? You think you'd write things like advice or looking for support. Basically, in this follow-up letter that she wrote in this comment thread, she was suggesting to everybody that was in this thread, which by then was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, she was telling people that she believed that Kenny went out there and took his own life based on these facts. She thought that he was depressed. She said that he had talked to her about it, that he had said that, oh, it's out in the desert, no one will ever find me. This man has literally disappeared without a trace, which even the authorities said was odd. Even in that very oppressive environment, they said that there's usually something that's found. The gun, some articles of clothing. Apparently in this area there are bad things that have happened. People that are hiding drugs or money or even bodies. The theories therefore range from people thinking that he did commit suicide. There's people that think that he ran into something that he shouldn't have, like maybe a drug deal or somebody else doing something bad. Maybe there's even the theory of the military doing something that he saw that he wasn't supposed to, so they somehow silenced him or got rid of him. Then there's the wild theories that he was abducted by aliens, or even that he staged his own disappearance to get out of the life that he had and start a new life, which is very far-fetched, and to do that is very difficult. It costs a lot of money and skill and losses and all that, which apparently he was not in a situation to do. We just don't know. All we know is that this extremist hiker, as well as avid cave explorer, was very accustomed to high temperatures and deserts. We know he didn't go out with proper supplies, but he usually always came back and he was okay. I'm not recommending anyone do that, of course. The fact of the matter is that this man seemingly vanished off the face of the earth. This all stemmed from a YouTube comment thread, which is just unbelievable to me. Now, it's possible there's other things going on. If you believe the suicide theory, then maybe he would have done it anyway. We just have no clue. It's impossible to say. There are people that say that they have gone out and found this M cave, and maybe they have found caves that look like an M, but we don't know that it's the same one that Kenny apparently found, because we have no video or photographic evidence of the one he found. Many people say that he left his cell phone on that mine shaft on purpose so that he couldn't be tracked beyond that point. We just don't know. I know a lot of you are familiar with this case. I'd love to hear your opinions and comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. Honestly, this case is just so mysterious to me. There's so many things that just don't sit well. The fact that it's been almost 10 years, so many people have gone out there and searched high and low, explored all these vast caves and mine shafts. It's just very confusing to me, especially the letter that the girlfriend wrote and the way everything came together, the fact that his cell phone was found on that mine shaft. I also couldn't find any news articles anywhere about this. Now, that could just mean that they weren't digitized in the archives that I have access to, but who knows? I definitely would love to hear your comments, your thoughts on this case. I just want to say thank you to all of you for all your support. If you want to leave a donation, anything helps. All my information is in the description. You guys are all so wonderful. Thank you so much. I've got some new cases coming up. One about a couple that disappeared on a date. It's just unbelievably crazy. And then another one about a woman up in the Northeast that went missing. So stay tuned for those upcoming videos. If you have any case suggestions of your own or calendar pick submissions, my email is in the description. Always love to hear from you guys. Love to hear about any adventures you have planned or are taking this summer. it's always nice to hear what other people are doing, or just seeing other places that I haven't personally been to. So please definitely send me those pictures for next year's calendar. All right, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care.